Hey everybody, Neil Thompson, founder of Teach the Geek here. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel as every bit helps. Yesterday, I was on a panel. I was a panelist, not the moderator. So I was one of the panelists. And it got me thinking about using being on a panel to practice your speaking skills, and it's really helpful because you're not the person that everyone's focusing on. There's other people on the panel, so it's a very low pressure way to practice speaking in front of others. So here are some things to keep in mind when you are a panelist. One is when you give your answers, you want to really listen very carefully to whatever question you're asked, so you don't end up rambling and answer a question that wasn't asked. I can recall just even from yesterday, there were instances where I'm not sure I did it, but certainly there were other people on the panel who were answering questions that weren't asked and then ended up having to ask what the question was again. It's like, what the hell were you listening to? It's like sometimes I get the sense that people are picking out just certain words, but not actually listening to the question. Perhaps the moderator could have also done a better job of asking the question succinctly so the person answering didn't have to think too hard about what question was actually asked. That's actually helpful as well. But as a panelist, try to listen as carefully as you can to the question so you actually answer the question that was asked. And then another thing to even keep in mind is to wait for the question to be asked. There were so many instances in that panel yesterday where someone started to answer a question that was never asked. The person that was the moderator was, I suppose, setting up what the question was going to be. And then the panelists just jumped in with whatever that person wanted to say on the topic. But I mean, a question wasn't asked, and who knows what question was going to be asked. This person may have very well answered or started talking about something that the moderator had no interest in even bringing up. But here we are. This person is talking, and now we are where we are. So certainly wait until the question is asked before you actually answer or start talking, I should say. Another point I would want to make is to try to be as succinct with your answers. And that really helps when you really hone in on what the question is. And that comes from the first point I made about listening carefully. Then you're actually able to answer the question in an efficient manner. I found that at the panel yesterday, there were instances where panelists would just ramble, and it wasn't clear as to what question. Well, it wasn't clear as to what question they were asked, what question they were answering. Certainly, I suspect they were giving useful information that the people could take away. But when it comes to being on panels, for me, I'm really trying to do my best to answer the question that was asked firstly, but then also offer usable tips and tricks and just things that people can take away from the actual panel, as opposed to, well, that was an interesting panel, but okay, what'd you take away from it? Certainly at these type of events, networking is important. So you can do that before and after the panel, but from the actual event, the actual panel, what did somebody say that you can actually use afterwards? And if the answer is nothing, well, hopefully the networking was good. And then one other point, and this just has to do with the flow of the panel in the first place. It's always helpful if the moderator organizes just some time before the actual panel to just let the panelists know what the format's going to be. These are the types of questions I'm going to ask. And it's going to be a free flowing conversation, or I'm going to ask particular people questions and then have them answer. Yesterday, it just turned out to kind of be a free for all. As I mentioned, there were people who were panelists who started to talk before the moderator even finished talking. So they basically interrupted the moderator while that person was talking. There were instances where people were answering questions that weren't asked. But hopefully the people in the audience got something out of the conversation, because ultimately that's the goal. So I firmly believe in the use of being on a panel to practice your public speaking skills, as it offers a very low pressure way to do so, since you're not the main focus. It's not everyone just looking at you. They're looking at the panel and they're looking at the moderator. You're sharing the stage with other people. But then to recap, some things to keep in mind is you really want to listen carefully to whatever question was asked. You want to wait until the question is asked before you actually start talking. You want to make sure that your answers are succinct, that you don't ramble. And then it's always helpful for there to be a walkthrough of the event and how it's going to flow beforehand, so everyone has the correct expectations. Hopefully this has been helpful. Again, my name is Neil Thompson. I'm the founder of Teach the Geek. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as every bit helps. Thanks. Have a great day.